Alright, y'all. I started with book 3 first, but we going on to book 1. This is the Maniac series, and the book 1 is called Cuffed by a Certified Maniac. This is about the dad, Jason, and the mama, Brianna. These characters was mentioned in book 3. Okay? This book, she was pregnant with JJ and Jackson, the twins. Okay? The third book was about JJ and his girl. Now, so much was going on in this book, child. Now, they mentioned the people from this book in the third book, so I would recommend reading it in order, or you could be like me and read it out of order. But anyways, Brianna was she was an aide at a daycare. That's what it's given, where she met Kylie, or whatever the fuck, was Jason's daughter with Sydney. Sydney came in. Well, Kylie was talking disrespectfully to one of the other kids, and she was telling her no, and Sydney came in and cussed her out, and then Jason came in and cussed out Sydney and said sorry to Brianna girl, and Kaylee calls her BB, right? So she calls her Miss BB, and anyways, her and Jason starts dating. Mind you, before they start dating though, she has a boyfriend named Tyreek, but Tyreek was in the streets and he would be outside more than he would be in the house, right? But she didn't think he was cheating on her, I guess. She has two friends named Monique, and the other one name is Natalie. Natalie is a hating ass hoe, not really her fucking friend. And so Natalie told her, oh, you gotta be careful, you spending his money, yada yada. She was a hating ass hoe, okay? She wanted what the fuck Brianna had, and I think Monique was trying to put her on, but that's neither here nor fucking there. In the beginning of the book, her and Natalie was beefing, so I don't understand why you were still friends with this bitch who always has something to say out her fucking neck. Anyways, long for story short, she was messing around with Tyreek. Her and Tyreek, she was tired of staying with him because he just wasn't staying home or doing what he said he was going to do. So she said, bitch, I'm moving the fuck on. So she started looking for her a condo. She found her a condo. It happened to be in the same building as JC. She started fucking on JC. Come to find out, Tyreek was fucking on her friend Natalie. I already knew that in the beginning. A hating ass hoe is always going to try to fuck on what you got, period. But anyways, Tyreek still talk about he in love with her. Finds out, oh, Tyreek actually was working for Jason, which is crazy. And then Jason, come to find out, Tyreek was Jason's damn brother from his ain't shit ass daddy. Crazy work. Didn't hear nothing else about that mama though. Or I probably read past that hoe because I didn't give a fuck about that bitch. Because if you could picture a nigga over your motherfucking kids, bitch, you deserve to rot. But anyways, come to find out, Tyreek was his brother, and I think he had another son. And he even had to tell Tyreek, like, I didn't want no kids. I didn't want you, and I damn sure didn't want them boys. Like, I just had y'all, really. Now we get the understanding of why Jason has his issues, because his mama wasn't shit, his daddy wasn't shit. He has abandonment issues, and he started going to therapy, which is good. And he had a little spat with Brianna because he felt like she was abandoning him, and he made some choices he shouldn't have made. Also, at the end of the book, when Miss Girl decided to leave the restaurant and go over there with Tyreek, after Tyreek already tried to put her man in prison and also put her in jail, baby, when he found out she was pregnant, at first he wanted to kill her and Jason, and then he was like, nah, I can't kill her, I'm gonna just kill him, and then I'll raise them kids with me. In my head, I was like, yeah, you gonna raise them boys with her, but you gonna treat them like shit because they're not your son. But anyway, when she took her little ass over there, I was sitting there like, what? And then she tried to she did convince him. She told Jason that, oh, I knew you was going to come and get me. I wasn't trying to do that permanently. And then turned around and told him, oh, how'd you find me? Because I left my bag with my phone in it at the restaurant. So okay, didn't you just get kidnapped? Like, Miss Girl had just gotten kidnapped. Like, why? By his damn daddy, who then trying to hunch on you. And if it wasn't for Tyreek, he would have hunched on you. Talk about he want to get a taste. Girl, what? And then his other bitch, Shamira, whatever the fuck her name is. Oh, find out. There's a in the third book you hear about a detective, right? But anyways, in the first, I forgot a Detective Warner, but in the first book, Detective Warner, he has two daughters. Both of them were fucking on JCR at one point in time. The first one, after 6 months, off herself because he didn't want to be with her. The second one ended up being his baby mama. Now, how did she become his baby mama? The father, the Detective Warner, had put her in a place where her and JCR could hook up, poked holes in the condom so that she could get pregnant by him, so that she could learn about his operations because he was selling drugs. So the father wanted to get him anyway, anyhow, and in a way pimped his daughter out to get the information. And that's what fucked up the case and why Jason didn't go to prison in the first place. But it's like, that's crazy work. So anyways, Shamira, he owns a club. Shamira was the manager at the club, and she happened to pop up on him at the end of the book and basically told her, oh, you just the flavor of the week. And Brianna looked at her like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out my face, I'm his wife and I'm having his kids, right? So Jason looked at her and said, when you want me to take care of her, just say when. And she was like, when? Like, do it now, nigga. And as soon as they was finished shopping, they happened to see a car crash, and Miss Girl lay down on the side of the road with a white sheet over her. And that's what I'm talking about. But what really annoyed me was she went on over with Tyreek, talk about she's trying to fix things. Girls, fix what? You are married and pregnant, bitch. It's over now. Let your husband take care of what he needs to take care of. Anyways, long fucking story short, the book, off the hinge. I didn't tell y'all everything, so go ahead and read it like I usually say. Don't be sitting here talking about something. Spoiler. Spoiler, ain't nothing going over here, right? Let me go ahead and read book 2. Okay, boom. We are in book 2, Loved by a Certified Maniac. And this is about Monique and Amir. Remember, Monique is Bree's best friend, and Amir is Jay Sion's brother. Alright? Now, the main problem that was going on in this relationship was that Monique had an ex-boyfriend named Malik. And Malik was an ain't shit nigga, right? And the only reason, Malik was an ain't shit nigga, okay? Malik would verbally abuse Monique. Monique is on the thicker side, okay? She not BBW, but she's on the thicker side. And he would intentionally bring her down about her weight, said she was ugly, and she should be happy that he loved her, or not even loved her, that he wanted to even fuck with her. Brought some bitch into the house that was pregnant by his baby and kissed her instead. Kissed the girl, and then turned around to Monique and tell her that she, could be good to suck his dick, but that was it. And because of that, her relationship with Amir was a little, it was struggling because she was basing everything off of what her last relationship was. She left that nigga, and it turns out he was doing that intentionally. Malik was doing that intentionally, breaking her down so that she felt like she couldn't go nowhere but to him. And I guess he didn't take into account that some women have enough energy and enough spark to get the fuck. Do you feel me? So anyway, she starts dating Amir. It turns out Malik is the contractor, or is working with Amir and Jason on their casino / hotel situation, right? Malik finds out about Monique and how she's in a new relationship and her business that she's wanting to start. She wanted to start even when she was with him, and he told her basically her dreams was stupid as hell. And now she got her own business. He popping up at her business. Her and Brianna, he popped up at her business one time, and her and Brianna had to beat his ass because he was doing a little bit too much. And then she had this ghetto ass receptionist, and the receptionist ended up starting to fuck with Malik, and Malik had turned her against Monique, even though Monique was helping her out. and she and Malik beat Monique ass. Monique was pregnant at the time, and they beat her, and she ended up going into the hospital, going to a coma. The baby girl was born, and when Amir found Trina, I think that's her name. I think her name was Trina Toya or something like that. When he found her, oh baby, yeah, yeah. I think he buried Trina, not buried them alive. He put Trina and Malik into this like cage and fed them to hungry rats. Listen, listen. He Malik was the main issue with he was the main problem. You know how in stories like there's always a antagonist, or there's always a situation that's a big issue between the two people. He was the issue, but he wasn't really an issue. You get what I'm saying? Like, you remember how I forgot what her name is, one of the books that I've read, how she left her boyfriend at the I think it was the third book, how she left JJ to go be with that other nigga Jay because she felt like it was her fault, and he ended up, y'all remember that whole situation? I think like that situation was a little bit more dire than Malik's situation. Malik was a problem, but not a big problem. I feel like you get what I'm saying. Like, he came in somewhat popping his little shit, and he kept getting signed. And then when he attacked Monique, he knew to go into hiding, and he kicked her in her stomach like he didn't want her to have a baby and carrying on, even though she still had her baby. And they ended up having a lot more kids and getting married at the end. I thought that was very beautiful. I thought it was cute, and they talk about all they badass kids. I thought that was so sweet and funny. This book was the funniest. I forgot to say that. The funniest out of all three. The funniest. Like, I was cackling this whole time. The whole time reading this book, it was funny as hell. Again, I feel like the whole Malik situation, like, it was a problem, but it wasn't like a big problem. Like, it wasn't like, oh, they need to find this nigga and off him immediately. It wasn't like Raw. If you remember, I think I reviewed Raw. If you remember Raw, and he had like 9 lives and he was causing like big issues, it wasn't like Raw. Malik is more like you stepped on a Lego or some shit. Like, it wasn't giving like he would be a big ass problem. Like, the bigger problem probably would have been the mental, how he messed up Monique mentally, and how she had to work her way through getting herself back into a place where she could accept the love that Amir was giving her. And finally, she had sex with him, because at one point in time she didn't want to have sex with anybody because of the way that Malik had did her. And that was a bigger precedence than what the fuck was going on with Malik. I felt like Malik was handled. I feel like he should have been handled immediately, but they let it go on too much. And then his mama, Amir and JC Hahn's mama, was trying to force them to give her money and carrying on when you left your sons for a nigga. Are you stupid? Didn't she get killed in book 3? I don't remember. But long fucking story short, it was good. It was good, y'all. Malik, every single time I read some of these books, it always shows the audacity of some people, especially men. The audacity. Because you didn't want this bitch, but now she's happy with somebody else. You hate that. You gonna tell Amir, Malik, that, oh, she still love me, she still want to be with me. That lady don't want you, and she don't even think about you no more. Go about your fucking business. And you couldn't. So now you're pushing up daisies. You fertilize her because you could not leave this girl alone, and you could not heed the warnings. The other bitch was Naya, Nyla, whatever the fuck. Like, it's just wow. And hearing how he was doing other women, it was just like, something's wrong with you. Hearing how you like to get fingers up your ass is very telling. I'm just saying. Anyways, y'all, comment down below if you've read this series. Okay, I know I did it out of order. My bad. If you have not read this series, go read it and then come back and tell me what you thought of it. It was a great series. Funny. Okay, Jason and Amir was way funnier in the second book than the first or the third. Like, they were funny as hell in this book. When I say I was cackling, too damn funny. When Jason said he woke up because he popped Kayla and he woke up with the remote to his head, and one of the twins had the remote to his head like it was a Glock, that had me crying because he was when I say that had me crying, that had me rolling here. My husband was just looking at me like, girl. Anyways, go ahead and read the series if you have not, and come back and tell me what you think of it. If you could like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all just got my braces tightened, and child, I'm over here talking like I got a speech impediment. Anyways, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Okay, bye.